Happy Saturday. Good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone. Welcome to Build Your Best Life. Hey, we're back. Shucks for pearls and earls. The girls are back. The pearls are popping.
Hell yeah.
We are so happy to be back. I know we only get on here once a quarter, and we cannot wait to get back to find some important information that we can share with all our viewers. For the pearls, which are the girls,
All right.
and the earls, which are the guys.
Yeah.
Again, welcome this morning. And for those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, I am Coach Deborah D. Smith, the founder of Build Your Best Life. And I am excited for this platform. It's an opportunity to work with different people to assist our young men in overcoming obstacles and to build their best life. So I just love it. I enjoy the friendships that I have gathered over the last several years, working with different people. And when I say these girls here, I got two sisters and a daughter out of this group, and I love them to the moon and back. So we are excited to be here this morning. We have a great topic for you. And we hope that you will enjoy it. And we know that you'll get something out of it. So please, please, please like, share, make sure that you engage, but please share with your friends, your family, your coworkers, everyone, because we want to make sure that when we have relevant information to share, it is shared with as many people as possible. So thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anastasia Smith. I am the one that is out of town, coming to you from Jacksonville, Bahamas, and I'm Be Becoming. It is a platform that does youth mentorship and it does career path assistance.
Greetings all the way from Georgia, close to Augusta, Georgia. And my name is Anita Cummings, and I definitely bring you greetings. I love my Pearl sisters, and I think I enjoy being a part of this group because it's a way that I can give back. For those who have been blessed with so much, it's required of us that we give back. So this is my way of giving back.
Well, good morning, and I bring you greetings all the way from the big state and heart of Texas. And I am here in Mesquite, Texas, and I am Carol Crockett, and I am so excited always to connect with the pearls here because there's so much wisdom in these four corners. And so I'm excited about what I do. I have a platform called The Power of Words. And of course, I so enjoy getting together with Miss Deborah with Coffee Chat all the time. And so I am looking forward to the information that we're going to share tonight because it is always great, relevant information. And I always learn something myself. So I'm going to just open up in prayer, if that's okay. So would you bow your heads? Father God, we come to you this morning, Lord God. We just thank you for the privilege and opportunity for all of us to come together. Lord, we thank you that we are able to come together on this topic, Lord, which is self-improvement. God, I thank you because your word tells us that we can do all things through Christ Jesus, who gives us the strength. And Father, we come today with information for our guests, so that they will understand that we are looking forward to all of us taking off the old man so we can put on the new man. Because, Father, we know that that is what you want for us. So, Father, bless our talks today. Bless the information that we're giving. And, Father, we pray that eyes will be open, ears will be open, hearts will be open, and minds will be open to receive that which you've given us in order to give out to those who are listening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I am so excited that today we will be talking about self improvement. And when we talk about self-improvement, what we see is the physical body. But there is a mind thing too that we need to be so aware of when we talk about self-improvement. So get ready for this hour of power, this power hour, where you learn some self-improvement tips. So to begin with, I do need for you to slowly breathe in and release slowly. We know we're starting our morning, so we're going to breathe in and we're going to exhale. I believe that we start our day off right, and we started our day off with the word from God. So we definitely have started our day off right. And we need to get our mind ready, our mind set, so we can receive what God has inspired in us to share with you. These are some positive affirmations. And once you say affirmations, you can speak it, but you have to believe it. And once you believe it, those individuals who are in your circle, just watch how contagious it will be. They will stop bringing that negative stuff to you, and they will start changing their words just a little bit, just a little twist, a little turn will change your whole attitude. So I love affirmations. I believe in affirmations. Just say these affirmations. See, my past experience won't stop me from having a successful future. That's what you have to tell yourself. What's in the past, I've learned from it. I'm moving forward. I choose to react positively to all situations. You do have a choice. You're in control of yourself. So you do have a choice of how you react or how you respond to any situations. I don't know about you, but I have said this over and over again, especially to myself and to younger children. This too shall pass. You will not be in that state, in that situation always. So just remember, this too will pass. To our middle schoolers, if you're going through situations, middle school won't last always. It's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade usually. High school will not last always. And remember, when you're 20 years out of high school, you will realize that some of that stuff really and truly did not matter. I feel calm. I have a choice. And I choose to feel calm. I am freeing myself of any stress. Don't bring it to me. I'm not going to carry that load. I'm not going to carry that burden. I can handle this. Know why I can handle this? Because I know I'm not my own. And I know where my help comes from. So I can handle this. I am in control of my life. I am in control of my life because I'm a child of God. And I know that if I walk down the path that he has for me, I'm not saying I'm in control. I can say I'm in control because my relationship like this is correct. So my relationship like this will be all right. That's what I'm talking about when I say I am in control. I face my feelings with confidence, and I go through all of those emotions, and it's okay. But I face those feelings with confidence. I am successful, not by your terms, because you don't define success for me, and I don't define success for you. So I am successful. I can do it. I believe I can. I know I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I can do it. I deserve all that is good. God made this big, beautiful planet. He created everything that's in it. I'm his child. So I know I deserve all that is good. I love and approve of myself. Let me say it this way. I love and approve of Anita Jean Cummings because you have to put your name to it. I love and approve of myself. I am worthy. I am worthy. And you know what else? I am enough. So sit back, make sure you're listening, If you don't have your writing utensil out, go get your writing utensil and get ready to write down some tips on how you can improve yourself. When you improve yourself, you can improve others around you. So, Coach Deborah, what are you going to tell us about self-improvement?
Hi, I am ready. I want to talk about 2 tips. That was just so much that we could choose from. I mean, there are so many different items that self-improvement touches, but we selected 2. So my first one is read more. Read more. And I know we have all heard reading is fundamental. And sometimes people I know get tired of hearing that. But you know, it's not a cliche, it's a fact. We need reading for everything. Now, remember, well, many of you don't remember, but your parents or grandparents can tell you about it. But when they first started teaching children, it was always reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now, think about it, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Well, you couldn't do the arithmetic nor the writing if you couldn't read. What are you looking at? What are you doing? So reading is essential to everything that we do. It is essential to start your children off early. We have this thing now. A lot of people say the tablet is your child's babysitter, but start them off early with books. I love it. A young lady at my church, her daughter recently had a baby, and for the shower, she said, I know it's short notice, but can everybody just bring a book? Instead of buying a card, bring a book. That was such a great idea to me, because we can start, and some people think, well, that's too young. But we have seen on TV children that are 1.5 or 2 years old, and they can read because their parents start reading to them early, some of them even while they were in the womb. And then they pass out, put sight cards all around the house so that they can learn to read early. It is essential. So parents, think about that. But reading does so much for us, because you might think, well, why is that self-improvement? If I can read, I can read. But it does so much to help you. Because think about it, most people that love to read, they like to be by themselves in a quiet place, maybe comfortable. You'll find a lot of times they take off their shoes. They may go out on the patio or lanai or whatever. But you'll see them and they look comfortable. And when you begin to read, you forget about those problems, those chores, those negative things. You get lost in the books. So what's happening? Well, immediately your stress is relieved, because that book is distracting you from whatever else is going on. It's causing you to relax and be at ease. Secondly, you receive different emotions and insight based on what you're reading. You ever thought about that? Different books bring different situations or different things. Fiction can take you to different countries, introduce you to different cultures, how people live. You can learn points of interest. And they used to have a commercial, Calgon, take me away. You don't even need that. Get a good book, and you'll be reading, and it's like they talk about all these exciting points of interest in different countries or whatever. You just learn so much, even reading fiction. When you read nonfiction, of course, that is something that we know is true. It is there to assist us in improving our skills. And so that benefits you. Self-help books, those are phenomenal, because, a lot of people don't like to share their personal information if something is going on, such as with mental health, or your joints begin to ache, or you got gastric condition. You don't want anybody to know. I'm too, they'll think I'm so old or whatever. But there are so many self-help books that you can purchase and read that will really help you. Most of these books are, I would say 99.9% of them are by medical physicians, psychologists, psychiatrists. And so these books really, really help you so they can relieve you, relax you. Biographies. Wow, what a great way to learn about something. No matter how important someone is, there's always going to be the tabloids, gossip columns. Someone's always going to point out negative things, whether they're true or not. But get that person's biography and read about them and learn about them. That's the best way to do that. Number 3, it can teach you how to be more empathetic. A lot of times we don't, we know our situation, we know the situation that we had when we were younger, our parents' situation, but maybe we have not encountered people of different cultures or people from different socioeconomical situations. But when you can read about people and learn why some people do what they do, it can help you be more empathetic. Books bring you general knowledge. One little known fact is that reading can actually reduce negative and depressive thoughts. How great is that? Think about it. Just reading a book, and it's going to help me. And then number 7, and a lot of times, and I know it's something that is getting worse and worse as time goes on, because now I see that even ZQL, that used to be the cold medicine, now they even have a sleeping aid. But a lot of people have problems sleeping at night. Get a good book, get relaxed, begin reading. You may find yourself waking up with that book on your tummy. Reading is relaxing. Now, I said starting out, read more. So how do you read more? As Anita said earlier, whatever we do is a choice. It's a choice. Just because I'm saying these things and I'm explaining how it will help you, unless you want to do it, you're not going to do it. So it is a choice. Only you can control you. But one thing you can do is sacrifice some time. I say sacrifice, but let's say you get up now at 7 o'clock. Do you want to get up at 6:30 or 6 o'clock? Take that time and make it a pledge that you're going to read 20 pages each day. So one of the first things you do, maybe after your meditation and prayer time, you read 20 pages. And we know what happens when you do something consistently. It becomes a habit. And before you know it, you're doing that all the time. But imagine if you read 20 pages each day, how many books you've read in a year, how much knowledge you have gleaned, how many different countries you have traveled to. It's amazing. I don't have time. How about you swap out your social media time? Instead of being on social media, read. I love it. I just love it. You can join a book club. So instead of doing something else, join a book club. It can become a family activity on Friday nights. So we select a book, family members. We say we're going to read these pages, and then we talk about it, because sometimes it's like anything else. Me and my pearls, we read the same thing, but I got something that Anita didn't get. And when Anita get finished breaking it down to all of us, we're like, wow, I missed that. But reading is amazing. And then get started with your babies. Start reading to your babies, your toddlers, your children. Add it to your to-do list. But you'll love it when you read more. My second one I want to cover is learn to communicate. And most people, when you tell them that, they say, I know how to communicate. We all think we know how to communicate. But when you walk away from someone, are they going, what did she just say? But communication is essential to all phases of our lives. And in our country, we have free communication, right? However, sometimes we take that privilege for granted. Imagine if you were deathly ill. You just woke up and you were hurting all over, or you were hurting in a certain area. You felt like you were going to pass out. You're on vacation with your family. You're in a different country. Your family is out. You've tried texting them. You've tried calling them. You can't get a hold of them. And you're thinking, I am going to die. Somehow you make it down to the desk at the hotel, and they get you in a cab. They don't know what you're saying or whatever, but they're like, something's wrong. And they figure out you need to get to the hospital. You get to the hospital. Guess what? They can't help you. They don't know what you're saying. You don't know what they're saying. You can't tell them if you've had any operations. You're not able to tell them if you have been ill, what medications you take, your family history, any of that stuff. Wow. Would that not be terrible? Can you just imagine? So we should not take communication for granted, because that would be a terrifying thought. So anything that we can do to improve our communication, we should do it. I know that and I hope I don't start doing it. I don't think I'm doing it right now. If I don't make sure that my mouth is wet, I'll begin to smack as I talk. And that's been going on for years and years and years. I never knew that until someone told me. I never paid any attention to it. But there's a right way and a wrong way to communicate. Can you imagine telling someone that you really want to be a public speaker, you want to be able to communicate, and you just need a mentor, someone to assist you? And they say, oh, I have the ideal person for you. They somehow connect you with this gentleman that has spoke all over the world. He has spoke on millions of platforms, different organizations. People love his messages. You meet, and immediately, you stick out your hand. You want to introduce yourself to this person. And they look at you and say, my name is Dr. Fisk. And you say, I'm Dr. Fisk. I am so, and we're supposed to be in this room over here. The two of you go in that room, and he begins, well, you want to know how I have been so successful in my communication. Well, first of all, I come from a family that is very astute. And this man talks nonstop for an hour. He never lets you introduce yourself. He never lets you get a word in. He takes a moment and he checks emails. He stands up at one point and he looks out the window. Now, okay, so people say he's a great communicator. Is he really? He has a message to tell people, but is he really a great communicator? If he's going to help you, there was one huge thing that he missed out on. He didn't listen to anything that you had to say. So that was like an hour of your time wasted, because that person really does not know how to communicate. That person knows how to give a speech or talk to someone, but he doesn't know how to communicate. And we need to be careful when we send texts, emails, letters, whatever, how we communicate, because there are several essential types of communication. There is listening, there's nonverbal communication, what you're doing while you're talking. So I'm talking now and you see something going on every now and then. So if I say, I am so excited to work with young men, you're like, oh, she's really excited. But if I say, I am really excited to work with young men, I help them overcome their obstacles. I'm not speaking what I'm showing, am I? Your nonverbals are very important. Your verbals are important. That's all your oral communication. So if you're on Zoom, if you're on the phone, or you're in person with someone, if it's personal, if it's professional, you have your visual communication. you need to be able to see people. You're trying to get empathy, doing whatever it is to get views. Some people try to be too provocative, uh, professional versus, is that really? Would you really put that out there? Some people don't care what they put on social media. So that's your visual communication, because you may be saying, well, you know, I'm Elder Deborah Smith from St. Paul, but when you see me on social media, I have on a bikini, fishnets, whatever. So am I saying what I'm showing you? No. Then we have written communication. Have you ever been in the presence of someone and they have excellent vocabulary, enunciation, or whatever, but when they write, you mean, oh my goodness. And then you have those people that get into the slang, and then they think that's the way you're supposed to talk. And then they forget when they're in a professional setting. So we don't want to do that. How to improve your communication. And I'm sorry if I'm trying to go fast, but this is a lot of great information, but I want to hit on what is going to help everyone. First, listen to feedback. Feedback is an excellent way that you can improve, but you have to be open to that feedback first and foremost. And then when you get that feedback, you have to do something about it. So like I said, it's back in the 70s when I found out that sometimes I smack when I talk. If I hear it, then I know I need to wet my whistle. I need to do something, because now you can hear it. Recognize your deficiencies. You know, people are not just going to point out things just to make you feel bad, you know, if it's really someone that is trying to assist you. So listen to that feedback. Even if it has to do with your posture, your expressions, your gestures when you're speaking, all of that type stuff. As I gave my types of communication, you know, I didn't give any detail as far as listening. But listening, to me, is the most essential part of communication. Because if you are truly listening to someone, that means that you are focused on that person. You care about what they say. You want to hear and understand what they're saying. Your mind is not on, you know, what you're going to cook for dinner, what you need to tell your husband that you forgot to tell him, what your kids are wearing the next day. You're focused on what that person needs from you and how you can assist them. You want to make sure that you understand what people are trying to convey to you. So if you're not focused, you will miss out on getting back with them. Don't be ready to jump in before someone finishes speaking. Let them know that, you know, it matters that they are saying what they need to say. Later, you can recall valuable information that you need. So whether you have a friendly or professional conversation, please ensure that you are in tune 100% of the time. Thank you so much.
Got to come off of mute first. I had my pencil and I was just taking all kind of great notes about reading and about making sure about communication. Now, Coach Smith said that we could talk about two things. So the very first thing I want to talk about is patience. I know you've heard this said before. Good things come to those who wait. Well, guess what? It's true. Good things really do come to those who wait. But we know that it's those impatient people who grab our attention. It's those noise makers. It's the one who's honking their horn in traffic. It's the grumpy customer in that slow moving grocery line. And when we watch a movie that's about patience and that's really going too slow for our personality, we want to snooze off. And we prefer movies that have energy, that's courageous, that show compassion. But research tells us that patience is essential to daily life. And it even may be the key to a happy life. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to make sure that I get all of my happiness in this life on this side. So having patience means being able to wait calmly in the face of frustration and adversity. So anywhere there is adversity or frustration, I think that's everywhere, then we have the opportunity to practice patience. That means at home with our kids, at work with your colleagues, or how about in the grocery stores with those unstocked shelves of basic necessities? We must learn how to practice patience. Research studies have found, and it's true, and you will hear me repeat this over and over, good things come to those who wait. I want to share a few things that I found out. Number one, and some of this connects so much to what Coach Smith said. The very first thing I want to share with you is patient people enjoy better mental health. Did you know that patience is good for your mental health? Just think about the stereotypical impatient person, the red person with the steam coming out of his or her ears. That's what we're used to seeing. But in a study that was conducted by some students at the Fuller Theological Seminary, they discovered that patient people tend to have less depression and less stress, mainly because they can cope better with upsetting and stressful situations. Patient people also rate themselves as more mindful, and they feel more grateful and more connected to mankind and the universe. And they have a greater sense of abundance. In the study, they further discovered that people who are patient towards each other tend to be more hopeful. So when you are helpful, that increase your hopefulness. Patient people, yes, indeed, they are more hopeful. Think about two situations. Think about the unemployed person who religiously continue to apply for a job, continue to seek employment. On the other hand, some people just put in one application. If they don't get it, oh well. But patient people will do it over and over and over again until they land a job. Something that's personal to me, and I know some of you out there can relate to this. Think about having an illness. I had cancer, and I know you heard of, notice I said I had cancer because cancer sure didn't have me. I had it, okay? So just think about it. When you hear some people who find out that they have cancer and their life is over very quickly. Now, I do believe we have an appointed time. I do believe that we can control the quality of our life. And then you hear those who maybe had stage 3, like I did, and there are only 4 stages, and people with stage 4, but they believe and they go to the chemo and they do the radiation because they have patience and they believe and they have faith that the chemo and the radiation most certainly will work for them. Now, all of us can relate to having patience over our daily hassle, like traffic jams. And some of those big cities, probably like Texas, have traffic jams. Or again, long lines at the grocery stores. And how about the computer when it malfunctions? You have to sit there and you have to wait on it. Or you'll just say, this thing is just so slow. But if you really and truly think about it, I don't care how slow your computer is. It has to be faster than you writing over and over and over and over. And I know as much as I love a typewriter, it's faster than a typewriter. So patient people, when their computer malfunction, all they have to think about is, well, right now, that's the fastest way and the fastest thing that I have. So my first point to you is patience is really good for your mental health. The second thing I discovered is so cool, so very cool. The research stated that patient people, they make better friends and better neighbors. Check your neighbor out. If they have patience, I guarantee you they're better neighbors. Check out your friends. It's those patient friends. I know when I was going through and when I needed somebody to be here who would listen to my sob story over and over, Anastasia, it was that patient friend that I would call. And for those of us who are grandparents, and I'm a grandparent to be, for those of us who are grandparents, I threw that one in on y'all. For those of us who are grandparents to be, you can read the same book to your granddaughter or to your grandchild, and they have patience. They listen to it, mainly because they want to be with you. But they hear the same story over and over and over. And that connects to, again, to what Coach Smith stated. Read. We don't care if you read the same thing over and over. Continue to read. And the earlier you start, the better. The better. So with patient people making better friends and better neighbors, research also stated that these people are more cooperative, more empathetic, and patient peoples are more forgiving. I am so blessed to have patient people on my left and patient people on my right. And guess what? They have me sandwiched in the middle, and I demonstrate that patient with them as well. Check out your neighbors. And if you need to start that chain of being patient, then you be the one to start it. The last thing that I'm going to say is that patience becomes a form of kindness. And true enough, it does. Patience is a form of kindness. The third thing about patience is patience help us to achieve our goal. Now, I'm guilty of saying this. I say these young children nowadays, I am guilty. You laughing like you're guilty too, Carol. I know I say it. They want to jump from here to here. And when they go on a job, they don't want to start at the bottom. They walk in thinking they're supposed to be the boss. Now, mind you, I've been on the job 15 years. So it would make sense that I should climb up a little bit faster. But sometimes that's not the case. In my generations and generations before me, we believe in getting a job, staying on the job, unless you're going to advance or come up with some more schoolings or being called to do something else. And you work your way up in that job. That's patience. That's what we do. Oh, these young folks nowadays, they scare me a little bit. I am telling you, but patience really does. It helps us to achieve our goal. So young folks, if you're listening to us this morning, make sure you exhibit patience on your job. You can't just walk in thinking you need to be the boss tomorrow. Learn a little bit of something first. And finally, with patience, patience is linked to good health. The research states that patient people, they complain less about headaches, ulcers, stomach ache, backache, headache, neck ache, any kind of ache. If you're patient, you have less pain. On the other end of the spectrum, people who are impatient, those are the people when you say, how you doing? Oh, my toe hurt. Oh, my head hurt. Oh, I got a backache. Oh, I have a neck ache. This is my remedy to those impatient people. Instead of saying, how are you doing? You don't ask them a question because they will definitely give you an answer. You just say, hey, have a nice day, and you keep it moving. Because remember, we build that positive affirmation. And if you're going to tell them anything, just tell them it will get better. It will get better. But they have to believe it first. Now, if we are naturally patient, like Job, then we are pretty good. But what about those of you who are out there, you don't have any patience? Well, don't worry. Just ask me. Say, Anita, how can I increase my patience? Well, I'm glad you asked. I can tell you 3 things the way that you can increase your patience. The very first thing you can do is you can reframe the situation. simple and easy. Think about, what do you do if you're supposed to be meeting a friend at 3 o'clock? You get there at 2:50. At 3:10, your friend is not there. You have a choice. You can get mad, you can get angry, you can fume. None of that will make your friend get there any earlier. So those are not the right choices. Or you can reframe the situation and read. We already stated that you need to read more. So just read more during that little bit of time. That's what you can do. The next thing that you can do is practice mindfulness. This is what you can do about mindfulness. Earlier, we started with breathe in and breathe out. So before you approach a situation that might cause you to be angry or frustrated, take a deep breath and breathe in and then exhale. Research states that once you approach a situation and you're mindful of the situation that might cause you to blow your steam, then if you go into it knowing that, you can exhibit more patience. So before you go to a situation, think about it. And as you are walking to it, as you are waiting for it, make sure you breathe in, make sure you breathe out. Practice that self-control, remain in control, and practice patience. Patience is something that you can practice. The last tip, and I know I probably said last tip a couple of times, but this is my favorite thing that you can do to practice patience. Steve Harvey does this as well. He said, practice gratitude. Once you practice gratitude, then you can practice patience. If we are thankful for what we have today, we're not desperate for more stuff tomorrow. So practice gratitude. What I do is, this is a gratitude journal. And I like this journal because you can write in it and it asks specific questions. Like, I am thankful for, and it gives me 3 lines every day to write down something that I am thankful for. And I refuse to write down like a home, because I am thankful for my home, food to eat, and clothes. Those are necessities. And I know that God take care of the lilies in the fields. So he's definitely going to provide me with that. But I write down more specific things. So make sure you are grateful for what you have today. Be thankful. Be intentional about writing it down. And that will increase your patience. Start a gratitude journal. Now that you know how to cultivate your patience, the next thing I want to talk about is how to really enjoy nature. God created this big, beautiful universe for us to enjoy. And the very first thing that I want to tell you to do to enjoy nature. Again, Coach Smith said, we used to say reading, writing, and arithmetic. Have a nature journal. Get you some paper, get you some pencil, have a nature journal. This is an activity that you can do with your entire family. Keep a nature journal. Write things down. Number 2, find nature wherever you are. Nature is all around us. For Coach Deborah, it could be a nearby beach. For you, Carol, maybe it can be a national park in Texas. Anastasia, how about the Atlantic Ocean of everything, of all things? And for me, I love the countryside. So try to find nature wherever you are. The third thing I want you to do is make sure you connect with nature using all of your senses. Take some quiet time to reflect in nature's surrounding. For example, watch the birds. Actually, listen to the birds. look at the clouds. Have you heard people say, I can smell the rain, and they know what that is? So actually start using your senses to enjoy this beautiful creations. Search for butterflies, even look for bees if you're not allergic. Again, I love to look at the clouds and I love to look at the trees. When you enjoy nature, this brings a sense of calmness and joy. Now, the next one, number 4, get out in nature if you can. Try visiting some natural places, some green spaces like parks, the garden, a forest, or some blue places like the beach, the rivers, or the wetland. This can help you reduce your risk of mental health problems. Mental health problems can be reduced by getting out in nature. It can lift your mood and it can help you feel better about things. It can be something as simple as sitting in your rocker on your front porch. But if you can get out and enjoy nature, get out and enjoy nature. For those of you who can't get out and enjoy nature, don't worry. Bring nature to you. Now, I can get out, and I'm so glad that I can get out. But for those of you who have to bring nature to you, you're thinking, how can I do that? Well, have some green plants in your home, some live plants if you have a green thumb. Watch nature shows on TV. It's there. Read some books about nature. But anything that you can do, and research states that if you can't go out to nature, when you bring nature into you, it can have those same benefits. It can make you have a sense of calmness, a sense of joy. It can reduce your anxiety. It can increase your mental health to a good place. Tip number 6, exercise in nature if you can. Go for a short walk by yourself. Go for a family walk if you can. Walk, run, ride a cycle. Walking and running outside in nature, it states, can reduce tiredness. Now, I know you're thinking, if I walk or run, it's going to make me tired. You might be tired for a little while, but for those of us who are walkers, don't you really feel good after a good walk? You most certainly do. It can release some of your anger. So getting out and exercising in nature is really good for us. This is a tip I want you to do if you're going to really go outside and enjoy nature. Leave your cell phone at the house, unless you're going to be listening to some nature sounds. Disconnect to this while you're out there enjoying nature. You cannot be watching the clouds, looking at the trees while you're looking at your phone. Put it down just for a little while and enjoy this beautiful creation that God has given us. And finally, this is something that we all can improve in. Protect nature. Protect nature. Let's do what we can to preserve nature for the generations that are coming behind us. Nature is truly amazing. So do what you can to look after nature in your actions and in your choices. And this can be as simple as recycling. If you don't recycle, try to recycle. Start small. Start with some plastic, some paper, but make sure you are recycling. Taking care of nature can help you feel that you're doing your part, and it can make you feel more positive all around. I hope something I said will make you want to get up and go outside and enjoy nature. Now I think Anastasia is going to come on and she's going to talk about how to reduce some screen time and how to get more exercise in. What you're going to share with us, Anastasia?
There you go. We're not only talking about reducing your screen as in your cell phone. We're not only talking about your TV. We're not only talking about your tablet or your computer. But once you've learned to reduce those screens in your life, then we're going to talk about filling that time up with some exercise. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about setting or checking the limit on your screen. Now, cell phones these days are a lot smarter than a lot of people I know. One of the things that they do, tablets also, and I believe there are some computers that do it. You're able to go into your settings and you're able to check and see how long you've been on your screen, what you've been watching even. My cell phone is able to tell me which apps I open every day, how long I've been on those apps in each day. It actually sends me a daily briefing. And that's one of the ways that you can reduce your screen time. If you just take a minute at the end of each day to see what you did with your day, what you did with your time, then you can plan ahead for the next day to know that, okay, I spent 3 hours on YouTube today, I'm going to cut that down. I spent 30 minutes on Facebook, I need to cut that down. And so when you pay attention to your actual screen time and what screen it is that you're viewing, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Netflix, whether it's OWN, because Love and Marriage Huntville, it's out. So you got to be careful of that screen time. There are settings in your phone that'll help you monitor that. The next thing is to turn off your non-essential notifications. Each time that you hear your phone ping, you hear that little alarm sound going off, you're tempted to check it. But I've noticed even myself, sometimes I'm checking it for Canva. Sometimes I'm checking it for Pinterest. Sometimes I'm checking it for all sorts of other things that I don't actually need to look at it for. It's not a message, it's not a call, therefore it's not essential. Turn off the notifications for those. And whenever it is that you do go back into your phone after you've already done more productive things, then those messages will still be there waiting for you. They didn't require a response immediately, so you don't need to keep on picking up your phone or your tablet to check it. The next thing would be to delete the time-wasting apps. We have these apps that we have on our phone, which are, well, I know I had a word search app on mine. I had all sorts of different games and things like that on mine. And yes, they can be useful when you're standing in the bank line. They can be useful when you are waiting on somebody in the car, you're waiting on your kids to come out in the car and whatever else. But they are also time wasters because you find yourself in every moment that you're idle, resorting to these things. And that's not what they were made for. Well, it may be what they want you to do, but it's not what they're made for. It's not the intentions that would be needed for those type of things. So if you delete the apps that you do not use more frequently, if you delete the apps that do not serve specific purposes to you, you don't need 7 games on your phone. Why do you need 7 games on your phone? Cut that down to about 2, pick out your 2 favorites, and then whenever it is that you're in that bank line or you're sitting in the car waiting on soccer practice to over or whatever else, you may play the game for a few minutes, but then you're going to get into that audiobook, as Miss Deborah talked about. Then you're going to get into looking out at nature, as Miss Anita talked about. You may decide to go ahead and take a walk around the field or something like that instead of just sitting in the car and waiting. But if you have a million games on your phone, a million idle things on your phone, then you're going to continually have one thing to another thing to another thing to get into. And lastly, on reducing your screen time is to be able to do what it is Miss Anita started us out with, which is to breathe in and breathe out. It is meditation. When it is that you take the time away from all distractions, away from everything else that could be pulling your attention, and you make sure that you sit in a quiet place and meditate, you are actually adding to your life. You are helping your spirit to be healthy. by taking the time to allow it to heal, to allow it to rest. There's no anxieties, there's no depression, there's no anxiousness going on, nothing. There's nothing going on because you are just sitting with yourself, you are calm, you are free, and you are in meditation. Reduce your screen time to meditate. Reduce your screen time by deleting those time wasting apps. Reduce your screen time by turning off those non-essential notifications, and reduce your screen time by checking your limits each day so that you will know how much time you're spending on which thing so that you can make that adjustment going forward. So now that you've already reduced that screen time, you've already freed yourself up a little bit, you've already gotten some time now and you don't know what to do with it, let's try exercising. How about that? That's one of those things that you can do with this newfound time that you have. We're going to talk about exercising. So, one, you are going to have to think about the people in your circle. You're not particularly going to think about somebody that needs to exercise for health reasons. We're not going to target those people because, those that look so healthy still may not be. But you're going to look for somebody that is an accountability partner. And that's the first part of learning to exercise more. Find yourself an accountability partner. Get somebody that you know is going to hold you to your word and is going to make sure that you're going to stick with your plan. And they're going to say, okay, it's 6 o'clock. Come on, let's go. Time to get out. Time to get moving. On those days when you don't want to do it, on those days when you really want to sleep a little bit later, that person is going to be the one to help keep you motivated. So the first thing that you're going to do is look for an accountability partner. This person is going to be your exercising friend, and they're going to talk with you while you're on your walk. They're going to download a playlist for you to make sure you guys stay energized and keep going all of the way. And they're going to be the ones to drive you home because you're going to be really, really tired at first. But like Miss Anita said, if you continue doing it, you're going to find that you have more energy afterward than when you first started. Your second thing is to keep it brisk. When you walk, make it brisk. This will help control your weight better, and it's more productive than leisure walking. When you walk and you have a good pace going, and you're not just counting your steps and going slowly and whatever else, you're able to burn more calories, you're able to cover a greater distance, and your entire body is moving. It's not just your legs, it's not just your waist, but your hands are moving, and it's a brisk walk. Your steps are higher, and you've got more of your muscles working. And so let's not do it lazily. Let's not do it at a leisure pace. Let's make sure that we keep it brisk, that we keep a good pace going so that we're not just doing it slowly and getting a bare minimum walk. We don't want bare minimum. We want maximum. We're being effective. We're being efficient. And so the next one is to try a pedometer. Now, for those of you that aren't able to use this newfound time that we're going to have, you're not able to use it getting out and going on a walking trail or maybe riding a bike or something like that. You're not able to do it. But I'm sure that there are some stairs at work that you can use. I'm sure that instead of getting in the car to go to the corner store, you could walk there. There's some things that you can do that will take a little bit more time, but it'll also help you on this healthy journey. And so this is where your pedometer comes in. When you set a goal on your pedometer for 10,000 steps, 5,000 steps, I would advise you to take a little bit lighter when you're first starting out. You can start out at about 5,000 and then work your way up. Each time that you're consistently hitting your 5,000 goal, then you're going to set it a little bit higher. Take it up to about 650, 6,500. Come on. After you've already done that, then take it up to about 8,000. When you keep hitting the goal consistently, then you're going to be able to increase it and push yourself further and push yourself further. And before you know it, you're hitting 10,000 steps easily. You're not huffing, you're not puffing, none of it. You are just walking it. Your pedometer is letting you know that you hit it. And you know what? You're still making more steps afterward. That's where we want to go and that's where we want to be. Now, if it is that you don't have that accountability partner as a friend and you're not accountable to yourself with your pedometer, sign up for a class. I know this is something that I had to do because I am not within distance of anybody that I was able to have as an accountability partner. And I don't have enough places to walk in my day to hit 10,000 steps. So I had to sign up for a class. When you've already paid your money for a class, you don't want your money to go to waste. That's the bottom line. You don't want your money to go to waste. So you're going to take that extra step. You're going to make that extra effort. You're going to try to keep your goals in the forefront of your mind, and you're going to get up out of bed and you're going to push yourself to do it. When you have that instructor in front of you and they're able to tell you, all right, let's do this, let's do that. They're playing that hype music. They got that techno going on. You know, it keeps you motivated. It keeps you going. And the energy and adrenaline that is given in those moments and in those classes is absolutely awesome. But even if you don't want to do a workout class, you can do something like Zumba. You can do something like yoga. It helps you with your stretching and your mobility and things like that. You know, there are different types of classes. You could do a little extra dance classes. How about that? We could do the tango, we could do the Macarena, we could do whatever kind of dancing it is that you want to do, as long as it's helping you to burn those calories and get that fat off and make some use of the time that we're going to free up from reducing our screen time. And so we're going to reduce our screen time. We're going to make sure that we free up ourselves and get away from all of this mind-numbing games and TV shows and everything like that. And we're going to make sure that we fill that time with exercising. And so now we've got Miss Carol Crockett, and she's coming to you with finding peace and reducing stress.
All right. Well, listen, we have already had so many great tips that by the time I talk about stress, we're hoping that you will not have any stress. Coach Deborah talked to us about even reading and how reading relieves stress. And then Miss Anita talked to us. I love that mindfulness and self-control with patience and having gratitude. And then Anastasia just made me realize my phone is really too smart for me, but to encourage us about the exercising, and all of those will help with what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about stress first. And so we're talking tonight about self-improvement. And, you know, I read this and it says, those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. And that's what we're hoping that we're doing with you today, not tonight, today, that we're giving you some tips to help you change your mind. We should be committed to lifelong self-improvement. When we learn something new, we want to be trying to implement those things because we want our lives to get better. And so it is really for you and about you. So you have to take up that responsibility and make it about you to become a more self-improved person. You got to be intentional about it. So let me get to stress. Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension, and it can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or even nervous. Stress is your body's reaction to challenge or demand. In a short burst, stress can be positive, such as when it helps you avoid danger and meet a deadline. And then stress can last. When stress lasts for a long time, it is not positive, then it is negative, and it may begin to harm your health. Stress is different for each person, and we have to recognize those stressor things for us. We have to be able to recognize them for ourselves. But there's two main types of stress. Acute stress. This is the short-term stress that goes away quickly, Like you said, if you got something challenging, something on demand, you got to get a project done. That can go away very quickly once you met that deadline. You feel it when you slam on your brakes when you're driving, or have a fight with someone, or think about if you're going down a ski slope and it's steep and you're going down it. That can be acute stress. And it helps you manage dangerous situations. Stress is that positive thing that help you manage those. It also occurs when you do something new or exciting. That's a good kind of stress. All people have acute stress at one time or another. So we all have some type of acute stress. Then there's the chronic stress. This stress that lasts for a long period of time. You may have chronic stress if you have continuous money problems. You're in an unhappy relationship, or trouble at work, or any type of stress that goes on for weeks or months is chronic stress, and that is not a healthy stress. You can become so used to chronic stress, excuse me, that you don't even realize it's a problem. If you don't find ways to manage stress, it may lead to health problems. Your body reacts to stress by releasing hormones. These hormones make your brain more alert and cause your muscles to tense and increase your pulse. In the short term, these reactions are good because they can help you handle the situation causing the stress. But this is your body's way of protecting itself. Protecting yourself. When you have chronic stress, your body stays alert. And even though there is no danger, over time, this puts you at risk for health problems. And it includes some of the health problems this chronic stress will cause you: high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, or anxiety. And then skin problems such as acne and eczema. Stress can cause those kind of things. Stress can cause many types of physical and emotional symptoms. And sometimes you may not realize these symptoms are caused by stress because you've gotten so used to them. So here are a few of them that I wanted to call your attention to, that you may not even relate to them as being some type of stress affecting you. Sometimes diarrhea or constipation can be a form of stress. How about forgetfulness? Can still be a form of stress. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm aging, so that's just happening. So sometimes you need to check your stress level. Frequent aches and pains. And so our bodies gives us these signals. And so we need to be able to recognize when something is going on different with us. Headaches. Sometimes we have a headache and we don't pay attention to it. But if it's a continuous headache, you might need to begin to look at that to see what's going on that's causing these headaches. A lack of energy, of focus. Sometimes I know it's very hard sometimes to muscle up some energy, like Anastasia was talking about, being able to get up and exercise. And sometimes we talk ourselves out of exercising because we have low energy levels or our focus. We can't focus on anything. And Miss Deborah, I think, mentioned about how even sometimes when you're communicating, how you can't wait till a person finish their sentence before you interrupt because you're thinking that you're going to forget or you're not focused on what they're talking about. So you might forget if you're not focusing. Even a stiff jaw or neck. And what about tiredness? And then trouble sleeping. If you're not sleeping, all of us need an ample amount of sleep. And so if you're not sleeping well, those are indications that you need to check to see if you have some stress going on. Even sleeping too much, not sleeping enough and sleeping too much. If you're sleeping too much, that could be an indicator that you have stress. Upset stomach. Sometimes we just blow those things off and not even look into those. But we have to look at the fact that sometimes that is stress. And of course, we know that when people are stressed and we don't know how to cope with stress, it can lead us into other things such as alcohol or drugs to relax us. And then one other thing, weight loss or weight gain can be a form of stress. So those are a few things that I think that would help us if we begin to look at those things. But also, if you're having those things, we've gotten great information tonight that you can begin to look at if they're not chronic things, and you can begin to look at it and begin to see if you can utilize reading or going out, taking a walk, leaving your phone at home, doing exercise, and looking to see how much time you're spending on your apps and those kind of things. Stress, anxiety, and depression are caused when we are living to please others. I wanted to put that in there because sometimes we are living to please others, and those can be opportunities that can be a time that we can become very stressful. And so we have to learn to know that pleasing others, we care about what people think, but we have to learn to know that we can't be people pleasers all the time, and that can cause a tremendous amount of stress. I read this and it says, is stress one of the number one killers or number one cause of death? And so it says, can stress cause death? It's not the number one killer, but those things that come up after it come up because of stress can cause death. Many people may look at the impact of stress on their health and the quality of life and wonder, is stress the number one killer? As it's directly associated with 6 leading causes of death, but it is not the number one killer, but it can be called a silent killer because we don't really look at some of those other underlying things that I mentioned that could be the silent killer. And because of the stress and not paying attention to that. So stress can cause sudden death by a heart attack, but stress does not cause death. But it directly contributes to sudden and early death. So we want to watch those stress levels, and we want to watch those things that's causing us stress. And we want to find coping ways to be able to deal with it. And we've given you lots of things today to be able to deal with coping with stress. A small amount of stress can stimulate you to think, focus better, and can be positive. So make sure you know the difference. A small amount of stress can stimulate you to think, focus better, and can be positive. But stress is caused by your thoughts and not your situation. Caused by your thoughts and not your situation. Being under stress is like being stranded in a body of water. If you panic, it will cause you to have stress and can stimulate you to flail around so that the water rushes into your lungs and create further distress, like you're drowning. And yet by calmly collecting yourself, using control, breathing, and you remain afloat with ease. So we talked a little bit, I think Miss Anita talked about breathing and learning how to breathe. All of those are ways to help us eliminate some stress. But listen, stress may not cause death, but it can interrupt your peace. And every day brings a choice to practice stress or practice peace. Every day we have a choice. All these things that we've given you this morning, we have a choice to choose some of these. If you find yourself in a place of stress, you find yourself in a place with anxieties, you find yourself in a place of depression, look at some of the things that we've talked about this morning and see if you can implement those. See if you can be intentional about implementing. Get that journal, like Miss Anita said. Get that journal. Write down what you feel so that you can begin to focus on that and see what it is. And I don't mean to just focus on it to stay there, because if you do that, you'll stay there. But we want you to be able to identify where you are. So that takes me to my next topic, which I'm excited to talk about because it is peace. And I believe that peace is the answer to our stress problem. And so living in peace is both an outward and an inward process. And what do I mean by that? Outwardly, it is a way of life in which we respect and love each other in spirit of our culture, religious, and political differences. It's outwardly. It's a way that we can love each other through different cultures, through different religious or political differences. Then inwardly, we all need to search our hearts and minds and understand fear causes an impulse for violence. And so we have to be able to look inwardly and see where fear is causing us to feel like there's violence going on, and feel like that we can't have any peace, and feel like that it's causing us to be unsettled. Peace can be a state of harmony or absence of hostility. I want to talk about those couple of things about peace. Peace can be a state of harmony or absence of hostility. It kind of has two sides. You can have negative peace, just like you can have good stress and bad stress. You can have good peace, and you can have bad. You can have a place where peace is not peaceful. And so peace can be a nonviolent way of life. Peace is used to describe the sensation or the cessation of violent conflict, the cessation of violent conflict. Peace can describe a relationship between any people characterized by respect, justice, and goodwill. And peace can be described as calmness, serenity, and silence. This one can also pertain to an individual's sense of himself or herself, since we're talking about the Earls and Pearls today. So it can be a sense of an individual sense of himself or herself as to be at peace with one's own mind. So that means we can have internal peace and we can have external peace. Internal peace is called that inner peace of mind or soul. It is what comes when you have those disturbances. I think Miss Anita talked about when all those things are coming against you. And so it's those disturbances such as worry, anxiety, greed, desires, hatred, ill will, and delusion. It is that peace within oneself. Inner peace is possible when you begin to carve out time. We talked about that, to relax, but it's the frantic peace of everyday life when we need serenity the most. Let me say that again. It is the frantic pace, not peace, pace of everyday life when we need serenity the most, because we know, like somebody said, when we go to the grocery store and everything is up, we look at everything that's going up, and I know gas has gone up, and we'll say things and we worry about those kind of things. We worry about what's not going to be on the shelves because the news is telling us things are going to get where we don't have different items. But we have to remember that is the time that we need to have some peace. And sometimes people will say, you need to get somewhere and go to a place where it's silent, but you don't always have to go and get in a silent place to get your peace. You have to, as Miss Anita talked about, you have to make an affirmation. No matter whatever's going on, I'm going to have control and I am going to have my peace. And so that's the moment when you're stuck in a long line and the contents. Think about this: you're stuck in a long line, Walmart, and then the contents of your bag spills over on the floor. Just then the phone starts ringing. That's when you need to find inner peace within yourself. Right as you're suppressing those urges, sometimes to unleash some of those 4-letter words that we don't want to let come out of our mouth because we want to look like we know God. But we have to remember that those are the times that we have to command our peace. We have to decide that we're going to have peace. We have to call our peace back to us. And that's when you need to find inner peace within yourself. Right at those suppressing moments, you have to begin to want to find your peace. In fact, you do not have to search for that calm, compassionate, deep awareness. Listen, that peace is actually within you. And it is as if we have a deep reservoir of peacefulness and serenity already inside of us. what we have to do is learn how to tap into it, learn how to grab hold to that peace when we need it, when we're in those stressful situations, when it seems like anxieties and depression is up on us. We have to learn how to tap into the reservoir of peace that's already inside of us. You don't need to shut out all the noise to find inner peace. See, the peace of mind does not require peace and quietness. It is your mindset. And you have to make a decision that what I'm going to allow inside my mind, I'm going to allow what's inside my heart to get into my head, or vice versa. So, and here's one point: do not allow the behaviors of others to destroy your inner peace. No matter what's going on, they can be, I always say, they can be acting crazy, but you have to decide to guard your own heart and don't allow their behaviors to destroy your inner peace. Protect your inner peace. There's this assumption that if you're in a quiet place, like I said, it will be more conducive to accessing the spot within. But in fact, there are people who have panic attacks still while they are on the massage table because they have to take control of their peace. You could just close your eyes and go into this place. Go and look outside and look up at heaven, look and breathe the air, that fresh air in. And sometimes that can help calm you down because peace resides inside of us. We talked about breathing, and I think all of us alluded to that. Breathe in, breathe out. Your breath is always with you. And there is a power of breath control to help you shift your state of mind by practicing 4 to 7, 8 breath, which is based upon a technique. And you know what? I found this app you can download called Breathe with the number 2 Relax. It teaches you how to deep breathe in and breathe out. It has a timer on it. So we have to learn how to do breathing. Visualize your happy place. What did you enjoy today? What are you grateful for today? And write it down and keep you a joy list. Miss Anita said, keep you a great gratitude journal, but have a place where you can write down those things that you are thankful for, but what brings you joy. Read the story you are telling yourself. If you find yourself spiraling over a perceived disappointment, frustration, panic-inducing thoughts, try stepping back for a while. Just step back away from it to assess whether that your brain is telling you is true. Is it really true, or is it really what I'm just thinking right now? Examine the source of your turmoil. Can it make, and how it makes you feel smaller inside. Listen, what you resist persists, and you need to feel it to heal it. What you resist will continue to persist, and you need to feel it in order to heal it. I found this and I wanted to share this. It's called the RAIN, the RAIN technique, an acronym for meditation. RAIN technique. The R, recognize what's happening to you. Label the emotions, because simply naming it calms you down overall. A is allow. Allow your situation to be there. You can't change it. You're not resisting it or trying to numb it and run away from it. You're allowing it to be there long enough to work with it. I is for investigate. Ask yourself, what most wants my attention? What am I believing? Where am I experiencing these feelings in my body? Can I put my hands on where I'm feeling it and soften the area? All of this inquiry is done with love and not judgment. Don't love yourself. Don't judge yourself. And then the N is for nourish. This is alternatively defined as a natural loving awareness. You've observed yourself. It's time to treat yourself with loving kindness and ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? Just talking to yourself like you would a dear friend. Sometimes we talk to our friends better than we talk to ourselves. And Miss Anita talked about this. Cultivate gratitude for what's happening and not happening. Cultivate gratitude for what's happening and what's not happening. Practicing gratitude is another way to quickly assess the state of your inner peace. Peace can be negative and passive, like I said, the absence of something undesirable rather than the presence of something desired. The biblical concept of peace, I can't talk about peace unless I talk about the word. The biblical concept of peace means to be complete or to be sound. The verb conveys both a dynamic and a static meaning, to be complete or whole, or to live well. It is to be complete, to be sound, to be whole, and to live well. See, this piece that I'm talking about is in Philippians, and God says there, the Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything. Instead, in every situation, with prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, tell your requests to God, and the peace that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart and mind in Jesus Christ. That's the peace that we all need. That's the perfect peace. And then there's one other one. That's the fruit of the Spirit, is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And so peace is knowing, and that's out of Galatians. Peace is knowing that the Lord of the universe is by your side, and resting in that. We have to rest in that. Peace is knowing that God is in control and allow him to have that control. But we can always take our cares and our anxieties to him. God alone is the source of our peace, for he is what they say, Yahweh. And one other word that we use for peace is to say goodbye or hello, and it says shalom. And so you will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst out into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. And that's in Isaiah. And the other Isaiah says, the other scripture in Isaiah says, Isaiah 26:3 says, you will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast because he trusts in you. So how do we have this peace? Pray, read the word, spend intimate time with him. All this time, Anastasia's told us how to get back, spend some time with him and take short breaks and focus on him and talk to him and set your minds on things above and not on things of this earth. So I hope I said something that you can take away. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Anita.
What a wonderful way to start a great Saturday morning. I am so excited about all of this new knowledge that we have gained. It's absolutely no way that I can sum everything up, but I hope that we have communicated effectively to you that your self-improvement, it is a lifetime commitment. So out with the stress and in with the peace.
Yes.
If you want to have rest and a good night's sleep, remember to protect your inner peace. Mm-hmm. So out with those non-essential apps. I'm guilty. And out with those time wasters app. I am guilty. And that means we will have more time in our day for reading and exercise. And with reading, remember, it's never too early to start reading. And we don't care what type of material you read. We hope the Bible is in there. Read children books, read self-improvement books, read the newspaper. Young folks, read the newspaper or find the newspaper, at least know what the newspaper is. Read fiction. Just make sure that you read. And also remember, you can always give a book as a gift. When you can't find anything else, Give a book as a gift. Have you been complaining about your head hurt, your stomach hurt, diarrhea, your back hurt? We have the cure for you. Stop. Breathe. Slow down. Say some affirmations. Do some meditations. And I love this. And Anastasia said this, and this is what I want to close on. It says, take time to allow your spirit to heal. Just slow down and enjoy what God has given us to enjoy. Protect your mental health. Work on your self-improvement. Increase that patience. Let that stress go. And just enjoy living your best life each and every day. We're going to have some closing thoughts by my Pearl sisters, Anastasia and Carol.
My closing thought would be for us to reward ourselves along the way. Make sure that each notation that was given to you today, that each and every one of them that you do follow, each and every one of them that you do apply to your life, remember to reward yourself for those little steps that you're taking. Each of the little notes that you follow, they're a step in the positive direction. Whether it is that you're only going to start taking more notice of nature, and while you're out in nature, you're going to start reading a book. That's still a positive move. That's still a step in the right direction. And you make sure that you reward yourself along the way. If you're only going to do exercise 3 days out of the week, or if it is that you're going to choose peace and meditate for the other 4 days, it's still a step in the right direction and it's still a positive move. So make sure that you reward yourself for each of these steps that you take along the way. Miss Carol.
Okay. All right, I'm unmuted now. But yes, some takeaway is be patient with yourself. Mental health is real, but also know that stress is real, but also know that there are so many ways that you can take care of those things in your life. Read. I love what Coach Deborah said. Take time and read. If you do 20 pages a day, just think how much you would have read. Read everything. That's what I was told in my reading class. If you read teach kids to read the billboards or whatever, that's a part of reading. But I love also that even as babies, when you are, as mothers, we can read to our children, no matter how many times you read that book, Miss Anita, that you can read it over and over to them. But that is still a form of teaching them a love for reading. And then don't forget that it is so important for us to have gratitude. And that to me is the way that we can show God that we are grateful for what we have. And we're grateful for life. We're grateful for being able to get up each morning and look up and see that there is a cloudy day or there's sunshine. But we know where that comes from. He is our peace. He is our source. And so all of these tips that we've given you, they can work, but you have to be intentional about them. You have to be able to be intentional about your body, be intentional about your mind, be intentional about your heart, be intentional. That would be the word I want to leave with you. You have to be intentional about these things because we want to have the body, the soul, the mind that God intended for us to have. He said he wanted us to have wholeness and be complete. And that is the way that we can have that, is by paying attention to our mind, our body, and our soul, and just allow him to teach us how to rest in his peace.
Thank you, Pearls. Thank you so much. I know we kept you a little longer than usual this morning. However, self-improvement, everything that we talked about was relevant. It was right on. I don't think anyone could say we were too long because all this information, I got lots and lots of notes. Is very, very good and can help us be better individuals, be better friends, family members, employees, whatever, co-workers, because we will feel more refreshed and not as tense and relaxed. And the one thing statement that I want to leave with you is that I said, don't forget, remember this, it's a choice.
It's a choice. Mm-hmm.
It's a choice. All right. So not pushing anything down your throat or anything like that. But sometimes when you don't know, you don't know. But we provide a lot of great information and it is a choice. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in this morning. It was great, a wonderful way to start the day. Please tune in on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Build Your Best Life Talk with Raphael Roker. And we're going to be talking about my friend, my brother. It's all about associations. So please tune in if you have an opportunity. Visit my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. And thank you so much, Pearls, for taking the time to get together again. So see you later. Have a great weekend. Thank everyone for tuning in. Remember, building your best life is our business. That is not a slogan. It's all of our commitment. Love you. Stay safe. Be blessed. Bye-bye.